Wales went into this game in Rome with hopes of taking their third RBS Six Nations title in 4 years, but Warren Gatland's side needed to rack up a big score to try to close the points gap on both England and Ireland above them. Aaron Jarvis and Rob Evans replaced the injured Samson Lee and Gethin Jenkins in the front row as the Welsh sought their 8th consecutive win over the Italians, Evans making his first international start. The home side had to line out without the influential Sergio Parisse, who injured his foot against the French. Bergamasco, Castro Giovanni, Rizzo and Heimona came into the starting 15. The Azzurri looking for their first home win in the RBS Six Nations since they beat Ireland in 2013. And straight from the kick-off, the home side made the perfect start. New Zealand referee Chris Pollock penalised the Welsh for obstruction, and it immediately gave the Italians a chance to kick at goal. Heimona's record with the boot was mixed during this tournament, but he made no mistake with this one after just 1 minute, and it was Italy 3-0. That would be Heimona's last significant contribution in the game, as just a couple of minutes later he suffered an arm injury and Luciano Orquera came on as a replacement. Wales were badly in need of a score to settle down, and in the 7th minute Lee Halfpenny made it 3-3 with a well-struck kick. In a stop-start opening to the game, the sides traded penalties to leave it 6-all. The first try of the match came in the 19th minute, and it was a lovely score. The Italian defence seemed to have sufficient numbers back, but when Webb found his full-back, Halfpenny's grubber kick through was perfect, as was the bounce for the onrushing Jamie Roberts, who charged over the line for an important score for Gatland's men. It was great invention from Halfpenny, and there would be no stopping Roberts from that distance out. Wales 11-6 ahead. The Italians may have been held scoreless in their previous encounter against France, but this was a different, more confident looking home side in the opening 40 minutes, and they responded in the best possible fashion to the setback by scoring a try of their own at the other end within a few minutes. The Welsh defence was rock solid against Ireland, but it was breached on this occasion as the Italians piled on the pressure and put several phases together. Eventually, it was Zebre winger Giovanbattista Venditti who bustled his way over for the try despite the attentions of Roberts. Venditti celebrates his 25th birthday next week, and this was the perfect present. Orquera on target with the conversion, and Italy led 13-11. Italy were playing with purpose, exemplified by the outstanding break by another Zebre man, Sam Vunisa, whose charge downfield was finally stopped by Halfpenny's tackle. Unfortunately for the Welsh, Halfpenny took a bang to the head in the process, and that would spell the end of his involvement in the encounter, with Scott Williams coming on as his replacement. In the final moments of the first half, Biggar squeezed a penalty kick between the posts to give Wales a 14-13 lead at the break, and with a big job to do in the second half to put pressure on Ireland and England later in the day. Wales needed scores and needed them quickly, and they got a vital breakthrough in the 48th minute. Quick thinking from Rhys Webb, who picked out the on-rushing Liam Williams, and the Scarlets man was under the posts before the Italians had time to react. A perfect boost for the visitors early in the second half. Great awareness from Webb and Williams, and suddenly Welsh thoughts turned to the scoreboard and how many scores they might clock up. Almost immediately, the Welsh were over for another try when Orquera chipped ahead. Williams was dominant in the air, and he had support outside him in the shape of big winger George North, who blasted for the line and his 20th try for his country. There was a definite sense that the dam might be about to burst after a competitive first half. North, no doubt, couldn't believe the space he had in the clear run to the line. Wales 28-13 ahead when Biggar converted. Shortly after, the Italian centre Andrea Masi was shown yellow for tackling off the ball, and with the extra man the Welsh immediately took advantage. The ball was worked wide to North on the left, And Luke McLean's attempted tackle was never going to trouble the Northampton winger, who got over for his second and Wales' fourth try. It was straightforward rugby from the Welsh, who now had Italy on the ropes, and when Biggar converted, it was 35 points to 13. The men in red were blitzing the Italians, and with Massey still off the field, North got over for his hat-trick when he got through a couple of weak tackles to run under the posts for another try as the Italian challenge crumbled. Every Welsh score was now going to put extra pressure on Ireland and England later in the day. North was unstoppable, and with the Biggar conversion, Wales were 42-13 ahead. On 64 minutes, the Italians were again reduced to 14 for 10 minutes when Geldenhuys was yellow carded, and Wales continued to completely dominate. The Italians had no answer, and Webb made a burst for the line. Venditti was unable to hold him up, and the scrum half was over for another Welsh score. This one wasn't converted, but Wales were 47-13 in front, and in what was a breathtaking second half of rugby, the Welsh blasted over for another try soon after. With just over 11 minutes remaining, Justin Tipperick set Sam Warburton on his way, and the Welsh captain sprinted for the line to move the visitors past the 50-point mark, 52-13. The Welsh were like an unstoppable juggernaut at this stage. When Biggar converted, it was 54-13. The Italians were simply unable to stem the Welsh tide, and the best score of the game came in the 73rd minute. From a deep position, the Welsh swept downfield without the Italians managing to lay a hand on them. Scott Williams was sent away, and the substitute got over for an outstanding score. This was champagne rugby from Wales, who were putting themselves in pole position to take the championship, 61-13 ahead. However, there was a little sting in the tail just before the end. The Welsh conceded a score that could have made all the difference. Leonardo Sarto burst clear to score in the corner, and although the referee asked the TMO to check if Sarto had put a foot in touch, replays showed that the Italian winger had just stayed in play and the score stood. The target for Ireland and England had been crucially reduced. Orkera landed a wonderful conversion with the last kick of the game to leave a final score of Italy 20, Wales 61. A 41-point winning margin, leaving Ireland and England with much work to do. As later events would transpire, this winning margin wasn't quite good enough for the Welsh, but they certainly made it exciting. Final score at the Stadio Olimpico, Italy 20, Wales 61.